Welcome back to the ticket setup series. In today's session, we're going to focus in on adding dynamic tasks to a lifecycle. This section of the setup series is going to be broken up into three parts. Part one, which is what we're in right now, is going to be talking about the challenge we're solving, as well as setting up the lifecycle itself to be able to add dynamic tasks to a new hire lifecycle. Part two will be actually setting up the Power Automate integration to add dynamic tasks to that lifecycle. And then part three will be actually seeing it all work together from the end user and the agent perspective. So adding dynamic tasks, why would you want to do this? Well, a good example of how to highlight the reason for why you want to do this is to evaluate a new hire process. So you'll see here I have ticket 38. And this ticket 38 is an example of a new hire submission in my business. Now, this new hire submission has two phases. We have an approval phase and an account provisioning phase. Now, in my business, every new hire gets a payroll account and an HR account. But maybe when you hire an employee across different departments, they may need additional accounts based upon that department that was selected during the new hire submission of a ticket. You'll see here on this particular new hire example, I have my form here. And when either an end user or an agent submits this form, you will see my ability to select a department. Now, what we're able to do with our lifecycle here is we can evaluate which department was selected. And based upon the selection of that department, we can dynamically add tasks to the account provisioning phase. And what we'll do in this particular part of the setup series is give you a base example of how if you were to select operations, our ability to add an operational account setup task in addition to these base tasks here inside of the account provisioning phase. Now you'll be able to use this example to evaluate any ticket property or any part of a form and be able to shift a lifecycle and add dynamic tasks after you review all parts of the setup series. Now that's the challenge we're solving and why you would want to do this. The next thing I want to focus in on is what do you need to have in place to be able to dynamically add tasks to a lifecycle. So to show that to you, we'll go over to the settings area of the Ticket Agent portal and we'll go over to lifecycles. And what you'll see here is I have a new hire automation lifecycle. And in that lifecycle, I have two phases. I have an approval phase and I have an account provisioning phase. And what you'll see is a reflection of what you saw in that ticket, which is basically in phase two, which is my account provisioning phase. I have my setting up the payroll account and setting up the HR account. I also have a create intra Power Automate task. Now, what you need to be able to leverage Power Automate to dynamically add tasks to a lifecycle is you need a lifecycle with a phase where it makes sense to drop those tasks into that particular phase. Once you have that lifecycle created and it's connected to a template that would initiate a business process, so my example is going to be a new hire process, those are the pieces you need to have in place to be able to then work with Power Automate to dynamically add those respective tasks that we'll highlight in part two. That concludes this part of the setup series. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you have a good day.